Hey, Facebook family, hope you're doing well, having a great day so far. So one of the questions I get asked, Mark, I got these back issues. I've had these back problems. How can I avoid getting my back? It starts tightening up. I got these spasms. My back hurts, all those things. A lot of times what happens when we get older. I'm talking mainly to my over 40 crowd. Now you might be under 40 and having some back issues and back pain. And I want to give you a 5-step method, my approach to helping prevent any back problems from ever coming around. So oftentimes when you have back problems, a lot of times it happens because of something you've lifted. You lifted something too heavy. Maybe you bent over the wrong way. Maybe you did something, you reached, for the groceries out of the car the wrong way. Maybe you even slept on it. But a lot of times what happens is we're not strong enough for the lift. Whether you're moving, maybe moving something in your house, piece of furniture, maybe you're picking up a kid. Made me think of it as I'm walking Owen here. Me and Owen going for a little walk. Right here, going on a walk now. Nice little walk. Now, one of the things I have to do is pick up his poop, right? Like a good dog owner should. Carry the extra bag. I don't have a second bag, so hopefully he doesn't poop a second time. Maybe that's too much information. But anyway, let's get back to the 5-step method to prevent any back injuries. Back limitations. So it's called the 5 L's. 5 L's of lifting. I learned it back in my days of physical therapy school. And honestly, the most important time was when I was working in a hospital and working with patients who, if you've ever been a patient in a hospital, maybe you've had a knee replacement or a joint replacement, hip replacement. And, the therapist would get you out of bed and say, hey, it's time, Mrs. Jones. It's time to get up. We're going to have to see how that hip is working and get you on your feet. Well, hard because you're in the hospital, you're drugged up, or maybe you have a little extra weight on your body. It's hard. And I have to be prepared because I was doing that day in and day out. So I learned that at a really like my early on career back in the late 90s, where I had to learn to lift properly. And that's where I learned the 5 L's. So it's not technically mine, but my method is a method I learned and can help you. So the 5 L's, let's get right into it. First L, number 1, is know what you're lifting. Know how much it weighs. Know if you're strong enough. If something's 50 pounds and you haven't lifted 50 pounds in a while, you could be at risk for hurting your back if you try to go lift something that's maybe heavier than you should be lifting. And maybe you used to be able to lift more. Maybe you're not doing any kind of strength training in your body you're not too sure about. So first and foremost, know what you're lifting, right? Know the load itself. That's the first one. The second one is to make sure when you're lifting is that you keep the load close to your body. You keep the load close to your body. So for instance, if you were to, let's just say, pick up something like a piece of wood, a piece of firewood, or maybe you have to bend down, keep it close to your body versus far away. Keep it close to your body. Know the load, get it close to your body. That's called lever arm. You don't need to know that, but it's going to be harder. Just for instance, if you have your gallon or half gallon of milk in the fridge, take it out of the fridge for a moment, hold it close to you, right? It's no big deal. You can hold it close to you and then hold it out in front of you and see how long you can hold both. Chances are, because the weight is in front of you further, it's going to be harder to hold. Now just think of lifting something really heavy. It's going to be a lot harder, put a lot more strain on your back. So that's the second thing. Third thing, you're going to use your legs, right? Your legs are really, really important. Your legs are the powerhouse. The legs, when you use your legs, you're going to be able to hold that load better. Kind of like a good foundation, right? Your legs are essentially your foundation. Like this tree trunk right here. You see this tree? Think of the tree down at the bottom of the tree. The base of the tree. That's the legs of the tree, the roots. You see, I don't see any roots right now. But the roots of the tree, think of it as like your legs to keep you nice and stable. So when you're doing that, your legs are going to do the lift. So what is that number? 3? Okay, that's the third L of lifting. Now the fourth one, when you're actually doing the lift, what you're going to do is use your lungs. See, what happens is if you don't use your lungs and you don't breathe, hold your breath. And you're like, well, that's good. You're supposed to bear down and hold your breath. No, you don't want to pass out when you're lifting something. So use your lungs. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're getting your muscles the oxygen it needs. Maybe you're carrying something just, from here to there. But maybe you're carrying something like a big bunch of groceries in the house. Maybe your dog. No, you're picking up your dog, putting him in the bathtub, something like that, right? practically speaking. Maybe you're going to the beach and you have a bunch of beach stuff and you're going to lift it out of your car or pick it up, or maybe you have a grandchild. Make sure you're breathing, don't pass out, don't let your grandchild hit the floor, right? That would be a bad thing. So that's the fourth one, right, is use your legs. And then the fifth one, what do you think the fifth one is? Got any guess? So let's review before I go over the fifth one. Know what you're carrying, the load, right? Know the load. Then you're going to know the lever arm, how far. You're going to make sure that weight is close to your body, right? Then you're going to use your legs, right? That's one. You're going to use your legs. And then you're going to make sure you're using your lungs. And what's the fifth one? Anybody guess? Come on. What's the fifth one? What's the fifth one? Anybody guess? Come on. Guess it below there. Okay, of course you're going to do the lift, right? You're going to listen to your body. That's my fifth. Now, there's a couple other variations of that. But mine is you're going to listen to your body. If you go down and you do all those things and you try to lift it and you can't do it, chances are you need to get somebody to help. Go have, a family member, a friend help you with the lift. Yeah, good stuff. That's it. Really simple. And now here's the problem. What happens? People go and they just lift. I'm just going to grab that stuff. I'll go. I've even heard people pull out their backs, cause pain in their back from lifting the smallest thing. I went down to bend my shoe. Bend down to tie my shoe, put my shoe on, and I threw my back out, right? And then you're kind of embarrassed. You don't want to tell anybody, so you take a bunch of muscle relaxants or maybe that extra shot, or you pop that extra Advil, or you take that NSAID, whatever the case. Oop, he's got to go there. So that's it. 5 L's of lifting is really my 5-step method to make sure that you don't get any back pain. Now, of course, you might have some old things hanging around. Maybe you have an extra 30, 40 pounds on your body that maybe change the way your weight is shifted, and that might make it just harder as well, harder on your joints, harder on your back, harder all the way around. That's obviously also a factor. So, best case scenario is protect your back, but listen to your body. Make sure you know how much you're lifting, know what the load is. Use your legs, use your lungs. Make sure you keep the weight close to your body. And then listen to your body. Listen to you. If you're good to go, then you should be good to go to lift. But listen, if you're not doing any strength training in your workouts, maybe it's time you do, because you have things that you need to lift. Groceries. Maybe you got young kids and you got to pick them up all the time. Maybe your job requires you to lift 20, 30, 40 pounds, right? And you're like, oh, well, I do that all the time. Well, think about this. If you're doing it the wrong way, if you're not listening to your body, you could be causing some long-term effects, some back problems that may not show up now, but they're going to show up sooner or later. So I hope that helps. That's my little helpful tip today. Take care and have a blessed one. We'll see you.